Making a photogram is a pretty straightforward process. We're going to take a single piece of photo paper, put some objects on top of it, and then expose it to light. To get set up, I'm going to flip my paper easel over to the side because I'm choosing to use an 8x10 piece of photo paper for this. You can use 8x10, or if you prefer, you can use the 5x7 easel on that side. I also have my objects. I've chosen objects that have some translucency to them. I've chosen objects that are opaque, and I've chosen objects that will let the light shine through and should create an interesting pattern. While the lights are on, I'm also going to remove the negative carrier. I'm going to use the lever to lift the enlarger head, remove the negative carrier, and set it aside. I won't be needing it for this project. Don't forget to put the enlarger head back down before you turn the light on. With the lights off now, before I bring my photo paper out, I'm going to check the size and position of the lighting that's going to come from my enlarger. Using the switch on the timer, I'm turning my light on. You can see that all I'm getting right now is a circle of light in the middle. I want my light to fill the entire rectangular frame. I'm going to use the height adjustment knob, slide the enlarger head up until the entire paper is covered with light. I don't want to see any shadows from that circle in the corner. The next thing I'm going to do is adjust my f-stop on the enlarger lens. To do that, turn the lens as dark as it'll go, and then up one click. This is something that you can experiment with. You may want more or less light depending on the look you're going for when you make your photogram. I'm going to turn the light off now and go get my 8x10 sheet of photo paper. I have an 8x10 sheet of photo paper. Remember that we need the emulsion side of the paper to be facing up because that's the side that needs to be exposed to light. The emulsion side is the side of the paper that is shiny or glossy. To place my paper in the paper easel, I lift the window, find the notches on the side here, and place my paper up against the notches on the top and the side. Closing the door, this is going to give me a nice even white border around the outside of my print. The next thing I need to do is arrange my objects on top of the paper. This is another place in the project where you can really experiment to see what sort of interesting shapes you can create. Maybe you want to create an image that is abstract, or maybe you want to try to create an image that looks like something, a face or a landscape. Now that I have my objects arranged how I want them, I'm going to make an exposure of my photogram. There's not really an exact science to this part. I'm simply going to turn the light on for a couple of seconds. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to remove my objects and take my paper over to the sink to develop. When we place paper into the developer, we need to do it swiftly, slipping it in from the side, and then quickly pushing it down the rest of the way with the tongs. Because this process is fairly experimental, I don't necessarily need to leave my paper in the developer for the full 60 seconds. If I was printing a photograph from a negative, I absolutely would leave it in for 60 seconds. But in this case, I can pull the print out at any point in the developing process. I'm going to leave this print in for a few more seconds before I move it to the stop bath. After agitating this print for about 45 seconds in this case, I'm ready to move it to the stop bath. Using the tongs, lift your print and hold it over the tray so that most of the developer can drip off. Then slip it into the stop bath using your tongs to push it down into the solution. Here we're agitating for the full 10 seconds. To remove your paper from the stop bath, lift it out with the tongs, hold it up and let the excess stop bath drip off before moving your paper to the fixer, quickly slipping it in and using the tongs to submerge it all the way. Now I'm going to agitate for 30 seconds and then I'll be able to take this photograph out of the dark room and check it in the light to see if I like my exposure. I've been agitating my print in the fixer for about 30 seconds. I'd like to take it out and see how it turned out. Don't forget, your photo is light safe after 30 seconds, but it needs to come back into the fixer for a full 2 minutes before the image stays permanent. A quick dip into the wash, and then I'm going to transfer my print into a tray so that I can bring it out of the darkroom. Don't ever bring a wet print out of the darkroom unless it's sitting in a tray. And here's the result of my photogram. You can get really interesting textures and shades by choosing unique objects. This is the part where you need to experiment, explore, be creative, and see what sort of unique images you can create using this technique. Don't forget that this print needs to go back into the fixer. It's only been in there for 30 seconds. So I'm going to return this to the fixer with the lights off for the remaining 2 minutes. After 2 minutes in the fix, move your print to the wash, and you may leave it in the wash for the remainder of class.